Do we create our happiness or do we find it? That is the topic of discussion. And what does this even mean? Um, I'm here to explore and talk to you. Sean and I are going to talk to you about it. For me, creating happiness is when you decide to focus on the positives, when you create friendships, build friendships, um, do things that make you feel fulfilled, and also set goals. That's what creating happiness is all about. But when you find happiness, or when you want to find it, um, with happiness, you want to do things like travel, or maybe you may have that dream career that you've always wanted, that you can finally have, and that you have. Being in a relationship that makes you feel good when you find that, and develop that relationship with someone that can actually change your life. And with that being said, let's talk about it. Sean, I want to ask you what you think happiness is. Do you think it's something like finding it, like you're finding a treasure chest?
Um, no, I'm on the side of you build your own happiness. Um, I don't think there's anything. I mean, happiness isn't the same thing for everyone, right? Um, and I don't know. It just like sort of that. Like happiness isn't the same for everyone, and happiness isn't and like necessarily a thing. And I mean, you can find a way to be happy in any situation that you're in. And actually, that's an important thing to learn is how to be happy in any situation that you're in, no matter what life is giving you.
Hmm.
Find things that make you happy, right?
Yeah. Can you recall a moment where happiness surprised you?
Happiness surprised me. Um, Not so much a moment, but looking back at it. And if you've watched some of our earlier shows, you've heard where I sort of point out that things things in my life that happened already that a lot of people would consider to be negative things are some of the things that I consider my bragging points, right?
Hmm.
Because I've sort of recognized that I've become happy about the things that have helped build me into who I am.
Hmm.
It kind of gives me almost that like I'm stronger than you because I went through more than you type of you know what I mean type of thing. So
Hmm.
I don't know what moment that happened. I just know that looking back at it, that's sort of how I feel. And because of that, I'm less bothered about the things that do bother me. So like when I'm going through bad things or struggles or whatnot, I have that belief that I can win this. I can go through this. I've gone through so much more. I've gone through worse already and things like that, right?
Hmm.
Um, so for you, sort of stepping back, like when you hear of people talking about being happy and stuff like that, what does that mean to you? Like what does that look like for you?
A good example I would say is, those times where, those times where you have that big, hard belly rolling laughs with a friend.
Hmm.
You're watching a comedy show, or you even have a memory of something that's funny, and you crack the joke, and it's like a laugh where you can't even breathe properly. Those
Hmm.
kind of laughs. I have moments with certain people with those kind of laughs. I think I've even had that with you sometimes. And those kind of things make me happy.
Hmm.
When I when I'm able to accomplish something in life, something that I set myself up to do, and I'm able to achieve that goal, or even going through it, those kind of things make me happy. Knowing that my family is okay, those kind of things, my family and my friends, my close friends,
Hmm.
those are some examples. There's a lot more, but those are some examples of things that make me happy.
Do you believe that happiness is is more of a choice, or do you think that the people that think that have sort of a naive view on things?
Um, yes, yes, because mindset, it's what shapes reality.
Hmm.
Um, Only you can control your own happiness. So if you want to get your mindset in that way of thinking, then I would say yes. You're the only one that can control yourself, and that's how it is with everything when it comes to anger, being sad. It's um, realistic that you're gonna feel emotion and you're gonna come off a certain way, but in reality, I feel that if you think about it first, think about how you are. If you're able to think about your reaction,
Hmm.
you're able to just let it go, walk away, do whatever. But you can control that if you really want to.
Hmm. Now, I firmly agree with that, and I'm one of those people that anytime somebody asks me how are you doing, sometimes I give them almost a facetious answer where I'm like, I'm I said I'm doing good. I'm always doing good. I'm in charge of my day, right? So I do agree that we choose our own happiness. But I'm going to ask you a tough question as if I don't know,
Mhm.
because it's easy to say that you choose your own happiness, but so let's say right now you're going through a tough situation. Either, you just lost a job, you just had a breakup, something like this bad moment just happened to you.
Mhm.
Um, how how do I look at the world or look at that situation and be like, let me find a way to still be happy?
We actually had to talk about this the other day because I've had moments where doors would close all the time.
Hmm.
And even if I had to take that moment to feel upset or sad about it, I could turn that around by saying that door closed, but another door is going to open, another opportunity is going to happen. There's a reason for this. I'm just going to think positive. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to push. And there's times that you've encouraged me to just forget about that. There's a reason why that happened. Just keep
Hmm.
pushing, and things like that, comments like that, it makes me happy, and I'm able to change my emotion, just by reflex of feeling sad or upset that I didn't, let's say if it was a job opportunity that I didn't get, I'm able to change that around with positive feedback
Hmm.
mentally.
Do you think that we focus? So let's say, um, let's go to this situation, this scenario of we lost a job, right?
Mhm.
So everybody is going to look at that as like, oh man, the opportunity that I lost, the money that I could have made, things like that. We focus on only the good things about any situation that we lose, and that's why we focus so much on it, and that's the thing that a lot of people take with them to depress them. Um, do you have you ever looked at it as, what about the bad stuff that I lost from that situation?
Like in terms of money when it comes to jobs.
No, like, because that's what I do, right? Like, if something doesn't happen for me, or if there's, um, something bad happens to or around me, I I kind of look at the whole thing, right? Like, and you've heard me do this too, where, there's a job that I'm trying to get, and then I don't get the job for whatever reason, and then I'm like, good, now I don't have to travel all the way up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
we we really do focus on only the good part of a situation, and we think to ourselves, we only lost the good part of the situation. Sure, we lost the good part of the situation, but we lost all the bad that was going to come with it too.
Hmm.
And for me, one of the ways that I get past things and I'm able to sort of like immediately find happiness is, one, I look at the big picture. I look at everything that I lost. So I realized that there was going to be some bad in that thing that I lost. Even if it's a breakup, um, there's always good and bad, even in the relationship. Um, and then I also focus on the fact that I'm still here.
Exactly.
And that to me is the biggest part of the whole thing. It's sort of like
Hmm.
the poker player's take on the game, right? A chip and a chair. As long as you have a chip and a chair, you can still win this game. And I look at life that way as well. I'm still here, and as long as I'm still here, I'm still in the game. I've still got every opportunity to win that everyone else does.
Yep, I'm still standing. Yeah, no, but you're 100% correct. Like I know some people they're not able to take it. They don't take it right. Like they don't think that way. They don't
Mhm,
think, okay, there's a reason for this happening. The door, that one door closed, another one's gonna open. They just run in a corner, they give up, they go into a fetal position, they start crying. But I mean, I can't help how that person may feel. Maybe that's just how they deal with things, but um, there are definitely positive ways of changing the negative into the positive
mhm.
if you want to think that way.
Well, I'll challenge and sort of ask, like, be the devil's advocate. What's wrong with curling up into a fetal position and crying it out and things like that if that's the way that you deal?
That's the thing. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's how you deal with it, then that's how you deal with it. I can't really control how you feel and how you want to think,
Hmm.
generally speaking. But if that's what you do, then that's your emotion. You're human,
Hmm.
and the way that I deal with things may not be the way you deal with things. 'Cause we're all
Hmm.
different people, and we deal with things differently. So if that's the way you do it, then that's the way you do it,
Hmm.
and that's
So
okay.
so how would you if so for me, like I agree, yes, it's fine that you do that, but I think that and then, like, there has to be an and then at the end of it, as opposed to
Hmm.
having, crying in the pillow, punching a wall, this and that, like
Yep.
doing that big. And I've done this before, where I've been in a room by myself, or I've been in my car, and I needed to have that one big so I can get
Hmm.
past things, right?
Yep.
Um, do it if that needs to be done. Do it,
Yeah.
and then you start looking at the future, and you start looking at what you still have,
Yeah.
who you still are, and build from there. That's the only thing that I would say I would give advise wise, right? Like, do that thing that you need to do, but there needs to be an and then, right?
Yeah.
Like, then I do this. So for you, do you believe that our childhood or our upbringing has to do with how we view happiness?
Yes. I feel like childhood is what lays out that blueprint of um, how I see happiness.
Mhm,
And you know, everyone in their childhood they go through things as well, and sometimes they don't.
mhm,
I grew up in a childhood where there was joy in the house. You know, my mom did her best to make my life easy, happy. I have great memories of my childhood. I see happiness in that I brought into my life now. Escape. Like if it's unstable and you're able to escape something that's negative, um, you can have that as a happiness as well. Or if something you're able to accomplish that someone that gave you a negative tone or feedback and felt that you couldn't do certain things and you couldn't be certain places, when you're able to accomplish what you were able to that people doubted you about,
mhm,
then that's another way that you can get happiness out of something that's negative, if you know what I mean. Does that make sense?
mhm. It does.
Or
Um,
am I not saying it right?
no, I get what you're saying. I so when I was asking the question, I was thinking more along the lines of what was happiness throughout your childhood, versus what you look at happiness being now. So for me, um, I I was happy without just because of how I grew up. Now I didn't know that I didn't have a lot because that's just what my life was, right?
Mhm.
So we grew up without a lot. I was happy without a lot. It didn't, you know, I was that kid. Give me a paper and a pencil, and I'm gonna go draw something, or I'm gonna go, you know what I mean, do whatever, cut the
Mhm.
paper up and make a toy or whatever. Um, I I didn't have a bike till I was, well, I mean, I had bikes, but like it was always just bikes out of the garbage and you built it, right? Um,
Mhm.
till I was in my early teens, I think like 13, 14. Um, that didn't matter. That was just whatever. Like, so what? My bikes came from the garbage until I was 13 or 14. That's where bikes come from, right? So for me, in my childhood, I just didn't. It didn't take a lot to make me feel like I had all the things that I needed to have, all the things that I wanted to have.
Mhm.
Where I see that coming through in my life now is where I'm able to brush off things not happening for me, things not working for me, because I still have the few things that I need to have that actually make me happy.
Mhm.
There's a lot of things I find that I will I'll think to myself, this thing is gonna make me happy, or this thing is gonna, this I need this, and that's the thing that's gonna do it for me. But
Mhm.
it's not. Like I'm already happy. And then
Mhm.
that thing is just gonna add something to it. But
Yeah.
it's not the thing that's gonna make the difference, right?
Mhm.
Um I'm For me, I've realized that some of the things that, like, my genuine happiness comes from who I am to the people around me, not what I have versus the people around me.
Mhm.
I think a lot of times we get caught up in that, right? Like how much money do I have? How much whatever. Like one of the questions that I was going to ask is, like, do you think that money makes you happy? I I think it's kind of frustrating to me that people still think that money is going to make them happy.
Mhm.
Um, if you're not happy now, you're not going to be happy when you have the money either, because now you're going to have all the money and you're going to be like, well, how come all these different things haven't changed? The only thing that's going to change when you have money, and this comes from somebody who was making a hell of a lot of money at one point, right? The only thing that's going to change is you're going to have the ability to buy much better things, and that's it. Unless your money comes from winning the lotto. Um, because then if your money comes from winning the lotto, then you'll have a lot more free time as well and be able to buy much better things. But you know what you're going to do with that free time? You're going to think about, how come more hasn't changed in my life?
Mhm.
Like, people aren't gonna flock to you saying, "Oh, you're wonderful." People are going to flock to you saying, "Can I borrow?"
Mhm. Mhm.
You know what I mean? Um, and I mean, with that money, it's just going to allow you to amplify whoever you are, and whatever things you think now. It's not gonna make you happy in the way that you think it's gonna make you happy. Like,
Mhm.
you need to find what it is about you that makes you happy, and then have money.
Say, for anyone that's listening, what's one thing that you may want to share that makes you happy and all that? Feel free to ask questions, share things that may make you happy or things that give you challenges to be happy. Um, we're
Hmm.
open. That's it.
So a lot of the things that I thought I wanted to ask as questions, I've kind of already answered them, or we've answered them just in our lengthy questions, because I was going to ask, but like, is happiness a mindset or a circumstance? I think we've kind of beat it to death that it's definitely a mindset.
Mhm.
Um, so I wanna instead of ask, is it, still go down that road of, for you specifically in this world, in this life, how do you maintain the mindset of happiness with all the things that's happening around you? Because I know you've been through a lot, and you still maintain that bubbliness, that you know what I mean. You never take it out on other people. So how do you maintain your happiness throughout everything?
Breath work. For me, okay, speaking for myself, yeah, I've been through things that it was challenging emotionally, and like we were saying before, you need a moment. You need your moment. For me, I take my moment. I always talk about my bubble. I find that bubble, I go into it. I need to be alone for a moment. I need to just breathe. I need to rethink things, let everything out. If I need to scream or cry or do whatever, let me have that moment. That doesn't last too long, but not all the time either. Like, I just need to have that moment. Once that moment passes, I think about, okay, how am I going to move on and go on to the next thing? You know, same thing too, whether it be a relationship or a job that I didn't get, or um, a goal that didn't happen. I just, ugh, and then let it pass. And then I think of ways on how I can change things and move towards it. Because I can't sit and dwell in that world forever.
Hmm.
It's also great to have positive people around you, people that can make you laugh, people that will
Hmm.
say to you, if you call them up and say, listen, what are you doing? Like, let's go for let's go get some fries. Let me talk about it. If you have people around you that can understand and spend that time with you, if you don't want to be alone, that also helps as well. It's helped me in the past. There's times where we've went out and it really did help. So yeah, that's it. Like, have my moment, do my whole breath work thing, and think about ways that I am going to change it and what I'm going to do differently, and think about ways that I could fix. Maybe I've made mistakes before, or I use that as a learning tool, and then find ways to change it for the future. But for you, do you find that society puts too much pressure on being happy?
Well, we're gonna have to edit that out. Do I think society puts too much pressure on happy? I think we put too much pressure on ourselves as far as what we need to have in terms of being happy. Um, I How do I want to say this? I don't accept a lot of the things that society per se is forcing me into.
Hmm.
Um, I'm I'm me, and I'm already a better me than anybody else is at being me, and that's that. Do do I think that we should be in a pursuit of being happy or a pursuit of happiness? For sure. Um, but I think we need to learn how to not look very far to find that happiness. Uh,
Hmm.
you hit it on the head. One of the most important things is being wary of who your circle is. Kind of like we had that conversation before. Like if you've got those people around you who they always show you the negative in everything, like count on that to be what you're going to get from them. So every time you talk to that person, expect that person to keep pointing out the negative to you
Yep.
because that's what that person sees.
Hmm.
Whether you want to consider that a good thing or a bad thing, I mean, in business, that person will be great to have around because that person will be the one that will always point out what can go wrong, even if it's things that won't go wrong. So that person will be the person that'll have you always thinking like, let me make sure I've got all these things working right. But in true life, that person is never gonna come with the happy thoughts, the good whatever. That person isn't gonna do the things that you need to hear, or say the things that you need to hear when
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to stay balanced, because that person is pulling down that one side. That's what they do. That's what they're good at.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't even mean anything by it, or don't recognize that they mean anything by it. So your circle is important there. And I mean that's a part of society. Like you're like society for to me, I think society is the individuals around you anyways, right? Because I don't care what anybody that I don't like, I genuinely don't care what anybody that I don't know thinks, feels, wants, whatever. Like, do you, like, good or bad, do you, right? And I don't even mean that in like a slightly negative way. I just don't know you to care, right? So for me, society can't be that big. It can't be the people out there, because I don't know you to care what you have to say, what you feel, what you whatever. Like, you know what I mean? You can't want this, that, whatever for me. Um, but the people around me, I think everybody, like all of my friends would, true friends would want the same thing for me anyway. So do I
Mm-hmm.
think that they want too much or have too much of a focus on happiness? No, it's just you need to you need to kind of not look too far to find what happiness is, because you'll when you really kind of look at it, most of the things that we do that make us happy aren't that big anyways. You know what I mean? Like you think, oh, I gotta buy this new car and I've gotta go on vacations and I've gotta have like all this Gucci clothes. Ah, no, you don't. You know what I mean? Like that, none of those things made you happy before. You've been happy lots of times without those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think for me, I think there's an importance, and I mean, I'm probably one of those hokey people that believe in the secret, right? But I think like sort of remembering the things that we're already happy for in our life helps a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when they say like go through the 10 things that you're happy for in life.
Mm-hmm.
Try it and you'll notice like those things really matter. It kind of sucks that I really only remember to do that when like bad things are happening around me. Like I'll remember like, you know what, I'm happy for my relationships. I'm happy for this and I'm happy for that, and you know what I mean? I'll remember to go through it then. And I should do it all the time. But I guess I'm kind of like I'm privileged in that way that I don't really struggle in keeping myself in like a bad bubble
Mm-hmm.
to kind of remind myself that I should always do that, like do my 10 acclamations, right?
Okay. Well, do you think that you can be happy while going through pain or grief?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I actually really do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, that's why I say you've gotta like really look at what are some of the key and core things that make you happy. And sometimes that bad thing that you're going through, even though it's very real, um, there's still things that are in your life right now that are a big part of your happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And like sometimes that's just what life deals you, right? Um, the biggest blow that happened to me at the beginning of this year, my dad passing, right? I mean, that was a big one, and it puts you in that, or for me, anyways, it put me in that situation where I'm thinking of like all of the most recent things that I said to him, all of the most recent things that we did. Like, was it enough? Was it the right thing? Was it whatever? You know what I mean? But then you also gotta remember, like, even of all of the most recent times that you've seen him, of all the times that I've seen him, of all the things that we've done, all the impact that he's had in my life, all the cool things, all the good things, and you know what I mean? And remember that as well. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you can't just focus on what's bad about
The
something.
negative, yeah.
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 So do you do you think that um and you know my thoughts on this. Do you think that people sabotage their happiness?
I think they one of the things at least I would say is when they overthink things. Um, it's kind of like stop being too paranoid when something's going on. Like just let it go. Like don't overthink at all, especially if something positive can happen with something that's about to happen. Like um, we're already in the flow and the pattern of talking about jobs.
Hmm.
You could think I'm not gonna get it. I'm not gonna get it.
Hmm.
Just say I don't get it. Or I didn't say the right. I'm guilty of that. I've kind of overthought at times too, and that's kind of me self sabotaging myself. Like, why do I do that? I don't need to do that. I need to just put it out there that things are gonna happen. That's positive. Um, I don't need to overthink it, and that's one of the things for sure I would say that you do to self sabotage yourself. Um, what about you? I think probably while you're talking, I'll think of more.
Um, yeah, no, for sure I do. Um, I've I've had conversation with people about this recently where I kind of led them down the path of recognizing that they are kind of sabotaging a situation that they're in right now because they expect something bad to happen. So they're
Hmm.
almost forcing something, not even almost, but I'll say almost, but I mean, they actually are almost forcing something bad to happen.
Hmm.
Obviously, I'm talking about people in relationships because people flock to me to have relationship conversations because I'm like Mr. Relationship. Um, but there's a lot of times when people will do that where they will out of their expectation that things go bad for them. And this is
Hmm.
just a natural thing that we do as people. So don't think that when I say this, I'm like pointing the finger at somebody and they're like, oh, you're so this and you're so whatever. Like everybody does it, or not everybody, but tons of people do it. But because you figure, oh, it can't be this good. Um, Things don't work out for me like this and things like that. Um, a lot of times we will tend to, okay, so what can go wrong with this? And because you're so focused on what can go wrong with it,
Yep.
you think to yourself that anything that looks like it might be bad is bad, right?
Yeah.
And that comes from when people say like, if you look for bad things to happen, you'll find it.
Yeah.
What they mean by that is if that's all you're looking for, then you're gonna find it.
Yeah.
There's a term called confirmation bias, right? And what I'm speaking this to everybody, like if we don't know what it means. Obviously we know what it means, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Um, Confirmation bias is if I think something, what can I find? I'm gonna look around, what can I find that is in line with this that I can now say, see, I was right.
Yep.
And no matter how many things that we find that completely go against that, we're just going to be like, nope, forget that one for now. You know what I mean? I'm looking for something that makes this correct.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're going to keep going, you're going to keep looking at it. And then when you find enough, then you're going to be like, see, I was right.
Yeah. It's like finding flaws in situations instead of enjoying the moment.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And it's a very easy thing for people to do, and that's where it comes back to what we were talking about earlier, and you were the one that was saying it when you were saying you were talking about your foundation of friends or your foundation of people in your life, right? um when you're looking for what the bad thing to have like is in a situation, and you go to that negative person in your life, that person's going to absolutely help you find it. That person's no good to you when you're looking for the good things.
Yeah,
But if you're looking for the bad things, oh, that person's the perfect person to go to.
of course.
They can they can point out where everything is a bad thing, right? So you have to watch for that, and we do that all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no easier way to see confirmation bias playing out than right now in the Trump era, right? Because we've we have a world where everybody now thinks that everything that somebody does either makes them a liberal or a you know what I mean, or a true thinker. Like I'm because we're Republicans here in Canada. Obviously we're not, but we still do this. So you're either too liberal or you're too conservative, right? You're one or the other. Everything that you do, the way you brush your teeth, the way you drink water, all has to do with whether I'm liberal or I'm not. And you will hear people saying the wildest things to put somebody in one bucket or the other.
Yeah.
But bringing that back to happiness, like I said, um, or it's sabotaging your happiness. Like I said, if you speak to the right person in the right way, asking them to help you find whatever thing it is, whether it be negative, whether it be positive, you will find people that will help you believe that the negative thing, that the tiniest negative thing that you found is a much bigger thing. And if you take that and run with it, in most cases, you end up with a situation where the other person is now saying, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Mm,
And now you have a fight that started out of nothing, and boom, there's the first step in ruining this relationship, this friendship, this whatever.
yeah. Do you believe that some people are naturally happier than others?
Yeah, because I'm on that list. I mean, I remember I wanted that T-shirt, right? That literally said, "I'm happier than you," because I am. Um, it's also because I'm lucky enough to be unbothered,
Yeah.
right?
Oh
Like
yeah, you're
I'm
so unbothered. You're like one of the out of all the people I know, you're like definitely top of the top of unbothered. That's the definition.
but that's sort of it, right? Like I'm lucky enough to be bothered or less bothered by by things than people. I've and again, here I go bragging about bad things again, right? Like I've had so much bad things happen in my life, and I'm still right here. You know what I mean? That I realize like it doesn't like like so what, right? Um, and even to even to sort of like brag about like the simplest things where you realize that like simple stupid things like prove to you that like are make me feel good, right? Like I fixed the lighting in my room in this office for $20. You know what I mean? Um, and I'm like, yay, because I was thinking of it as how am I gonna get better lighting in this room? There's too much this, I'm too washed out, it's making the camera grainy, all these things. So I was literally looking for what can I find wrong with this show, right? Um, and $20 later, boom, I like it. So, but no, but it's funny. Like I say that and it sounds dumb, right? But these are the things that prove to me like life is easier than you think it is.
Yeah, yeah,
It's you know what I mean. It's easier than you think it is. Like my other lights when I had my other studio were like $7,000, and
compared to money.
that was the obstacle I was trying to create for myself, right? Like
Yeah,
trying to make myself believe that the task at fixing this is so daunting, right? Um, the show is going to be terrible because of this. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not. It's an audio show, right? It has to do with what we're saying.
yeah,
Little things like that. Um, in true life, though, or in broader life, like I care more about my friendships and my like all of my other relationships than I do the money that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know what I mean? I care more about my knowledge. I know that I'm in a lot of ways a fairly intellectual person.
Mm-hmm.
These things make me happy. Like I can sit and I can flow in many different conversation styles, right?
Mm-hmm.
That makes me happy. Building a strong character
Mm-hmm.
makes me like I'm happy for that, right? So these are the things that I care more about than just money. I sure I want to have more money, right? But I also think I think I'm ready to have more money. Um, when I was making a ton of money before, I wasn't ready then.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know me as well as I know me now. I didn't value a lot of the same things that I value now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I thought then that money was going to be the thing that makes the difference.
Yeah. And then priorities are different. Like you get older, your mind changes mentally, and
Absolutely.
people come in your life, things happen. So yeah.
Absolutely.
So do you think we can measure happiness, or is it too personal?
I don't, um, I think that's a slippery slope measuring happiness because how do you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that might be one of the things that sort of sends people into that loop of thinking, oh, well, maybe my life's not good enough. Like maybe they truly do believe that like there is a way to like when I say that I'm happier than other people, like trust me, I know that there's no such thing. I don't think I'm happier than other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I don't think that there's a scale of happiness. Like I just think that if you look at your life properly. And when I say properly, I mean look more internal and don't look at this broad scope. Like just look at what are the things that I have around me. Am I still healthy? Can I still speak? Do I still have my wits? Like
Mm-hmm.
these are these are really the things that you should be focusing on about yourself because everything else that you want, you need to have those things anyways, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
what's money without health?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, great. Like I've got a ton of money, but I'm like literally not healthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like it now you want to be healthy. You're not even worried. You're not even cared about the money. Now
Mm-hmm.
you're like, damn, I just I want to be healthy, right? I am healthy. That's harder to get than money.
Mm-hmm.
And I do look at that. I do look at that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. Even people that have nothing that are in relationships, they there's two sets of people. There's the group of people that they feel that they can't get into the relationship because they won't be happy because this person doesn't have enough money to take care of me or deal with things and do things, so I'm not going to be happy, so I'm not going to be in that relationship. But then you have people on this side of relationships that they have nothing, but they know that they're going to be happy because of the love that they have for each other and the things that they can deal with together as a team, as a couple, and be happy in other ways.
Mhm.
So people they find happiness in certain ways, different ways. There's this way and then there's that way.
Mhm.
Um, so I say that to say that even though the money isn't there, you can definitely find happiness because money isn't everything. And there's so many stories and so many people that have proved that that is 100% true.
Mhm.
They don't want to move forward in life and relationships because they don't have that. And I understand that, you want to feel secure and you want to, you know, have that way of thinking of I'll be okay, I'm going to be okay now because this person has a certain amount. But there are definitely ways that you can fulfill the relationship of who you're with without money,
Mhm.
and that's fine. That's okay.
I will say though, where understanding that money isn't going to be that thing that changes your life the way that you think it will.
Mhm.
Um, you're going to recognize that there's going to be people that are in your life who have a better relationship with your money than they do with you. I had tons of people, I won't say tons, but I had people in my life who the only thing that they cared about was my spending ability. And that's what they were around me for,
But
right?
your spending ability,
Yeah,
you said, oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and like that was the thing that they were around me for because Sean had money, Sean can afford this, Sean can do that, Sean can do this, Sean can do whatever, right? And that's what mattered to them. Sean had a nice car, Sean can whatever. Like these are the things that mattered to them. So it looked cool to other people that they were around me and my money. They were around this guy that could spend money.
Were you truly happy though?
I played the role real well.
But deep down inside, you weren't really happy, or you just felt normal?
Um, I started out happy, and then I slowly started separating myself from all of the people that had more to do with the real me than the people who like had more to do with the financial me, right? Because it gave me the opportunity to live a life that I never had before. Like somebody would be like, "Hey, do you want to go to Vegas this weekend?" Sure. And then I would literally come back from like Vegas or come back from Miami or come back from California, and somebody's like, "Hey, do you want to go to here?" And I'd be like, "Sure." And it seemed easy and normal to do that, like based on the lifestyle that I had for work, anyways, because at the time my work was all travel anyway. So I was always on an airplane for work. So it just seemed cool to always be on an airplane for like my social time as well, right? And I couldn't do that with my regular friends because my regular friends didn't make that kind of money. So I started distancing myself from them. So it made being happy kind of difficult because for me, the people that I was hanging around with during that time frame weren't like my actual friends. They were just my financial friends, right? So yeah, like was I truly happy at the time? No. I was playing the role of somebody that was. I was living the life of somebody that you know what I mean? Like I tried to look like like I was happy, but I wasn't.
So if happiness is something that you find, um, what's the best way would you look at it? That you would look at it?
I don't think it's something that you find. I think it's something that you build. Like I think you create your own happiness, and you have to recognize um, the things in your life that truly make you happy. What's the best way to look at it? To me, is like always look internal. Like don't look beyond your nose at all. Just look internal. What about me right now are the things that I love about me,
Hmm.
and then build from there.
Right. The best way to look at it is pretty much, not to run out of it, but I agree 100% with what you're saying, and I would probably say the same thing.
Mhm.
You have to look inside yourself. You have to, just to go back on the things that we said, you have to be, well, it helps when you're around positive people, when you read certain things, stay out of toxic situations because that's obviously not going to help you. I think if you really want to be happy, you know of ways that you can be, because it's obvious that if you are going to hang around a bad crowd or someone that's consistently talking negative, it's not where you're going to find happiness.
Yeah.
You know, like I try to be as positive as I can every day. And the friends that I've had back then and the friends that I have now, they're totally different. I've been able to filter out all of that negativity. And I just, the people from back then, I brought them with me, and we've been able to stick together. The true ones, the ones that I know that will lift me up, because I know that throughout the years, or even new friends that I've met, it's easier now because sometimes I just sense them right away. I sense within like a few minutes of conversation if it's someone that I can continue with because of just the vibe, the aura, you know, and I I I find it, I find new positive friendships that way, having that, you know, few-minute conversation, and when you know,
Hmm.
you know, um, and that's what I would say on that, like to kind of piggyback off of what you said.
Hmm.
Um, so I want to end off by saying, you know, whether we create it or find it, happiness, it's it's deeply personal, and what matters is how we can make it work. What matters is, like I said, the people that we um, hang around with, the right people, making the right decisions of who we want to be in our circle to help us develop that happiness. And when we recognize it, we'll know that it's here.
Hmm.
So I don't know if you want to end off in any words, but those
Yeah,
are my 2 cents.
I'll sort of like piggyback what you said because I think I don't want to say it's a when you recognize it. I think it's very easy to recognize it.
Some
Sort of,
people don't believe it or not.
I know, and that's what I was about to say, right?
Yeah.
Like, sort of ask yourself who in my life makes me smile and makes me laugh, right? Um, there might be somebody that answers the phone every single time you call them, but that's the person that helps you argue, right? Like, that's actually not your circle of happiness,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's who promotes the happy in my life, like who allows me to smile, who allows me to laugh, who like reminds me of the things that make me good, the things that make me strong,
Yeah.
right? And that's your circle.
Yeah.
Your friends, and we'll go down this route with this conversation another time, but your friends either help you or hurt you, right?
Yeah.
And the ones that help you are the ones that make your face go this way, right?
Exactly.
That's the people that you want to focus on. And then you want to focus on things like your health. Do you have health? That's so important, and that outweighs everything else in your life, right?
Exactly.
Because you need that for everything else.
Yeah.
And this is not the like, oh, the health coach and the personal trainer speaking. This is just that's the thing that you want to make sure of. You want to make sure that you're surrounded by people that make you smile, that help you pinpoint and help you promote the things in you that are good about you.
Hmm.
And you want to be around people that keep you in your healthiest, your strongest, that help promote your mind. That those are the things that you want around you.
100%. So, with all that being said, we want to end it on that positive note. This will be uploaded on YouTube. I will put a little promo to show that it's on YouTube. So I want to thank you for tuning in with us, and it'll be pre-recorded, but it'll be on YouTube on Thursday. So take care. It was wonderful talking to you, and have a great night.
All righty.